Good afternoon and welcome to a demonstration of adsBI, which is Absolute Data Solutions Business Intelligence. This is a reporting and data structure that's used for reporting and data analysis for mental health agencies. Today in our PowerPoint presentation, we're going to be looking at the overall process flow of how adsBI works. We're going to look and review some of the common database issues and how adsBI alleviates those issues. We're going to look at the advantages and attributes of adsBI, as well as look at examples of adsBI within Excel, and then go over to notes and summary of how adsBI works. Here is a very generic and high-level process flow of how adsBI does work. adsBI isn't a separate database, and it is outside of your vendor software. It is in Microsoft SQL Server, and what it does is it points to your vendor database, and it sucks in the data, it aggregates it, and puts it into a set structure of data and views, which you can then report on from any Microsoft tool or Microsoft compatible tool. Some of those common tools are Excel pivot tables, dashboards, Microsoft Access, Crystal Reports, and SQL reporting services, but it's not limited to those. You can't manage what you can't measure. For mental health agencies, we want to have the ability to measure what we're actually doing on a day-to-day basis and show some trending, some informational, some aggregates about that. What adsBI promotes is the timeliness of that data, because our data aggregation is on a set schedule, so it accumulates on a schedule that you set. The data is accessible to anybody who has Microsoft Office, so it's available to all users who have that software on their desktop. It's accurate, it's consistent. One of the key drivers of this is to make sure that the data is accurate and consistent across the data structure. It's very granular, so that we are able to, number one, see trends and aggregates across months, across years, but we're able then to drill down to see the actual details of that information. Because it does use Microsoft Office, it definitely eases the use of the reporting and analysis, meaning end users are now able to even further drill down and query and write some ad hoc queries against the data within Excel, as opposed to having to know SQL or any types of relational databases. The last piece here is multiple views. A lot of people want to see different views of the same data. So we have created multiple views, but we're always pointing to that one source, which I consider the truth, meaning it's the one that we're all basing all our views off of. The evolution of adsBI started from working with mental health agencies who were always looking for that reporting solution that was consistent and was not hard to get to. So I consulted some agencies and created some what I call aggregate tables, which brought in 7 to 10 different tables within your vendor software and aggregated into one master table. I then created Crystal Reports for that and got a lot of feedback on that that said, you know what, these are great tools to have, but can we do this in a more generic sense? Can we not bring it in Crystal? Can we do it in other things? So what I'm currently doing and what I have done is I've created a standard set of data. I've created processes and documentation behind that, and now I'm using Excel, basically pivot tables and dashboards to bring that data to the end users. I've gotten even more additional feedback on that, and where I see the future of this going is kind of more of a standardized reporting model. I think the transactional and the client demographics is already there, and it's already a working model. What I'm looking for is other types of information, such as outcomes, clinical types of information, accounts payable, payroll. It's really limitless to what this could bring in, but if you standardize that view, this could work across not just one agency, but multiple agencies, and coming from all different types of data. Advantages of using adsBI are this. Easy setup. There is no software. We're using the software you already own. If you're on Microsoft SQL Server, the stored procedures already run. If you have Microsoft Office, which most business users probably do, you're able to get this data right away. There's no installations. You can leverage that technology. You might already have the talent internally to create dashboards and to create nice pivot tables within Excel. Hopefully, you'll be able to leverage that technology with this product. Low maintenance, it runs automatically, so we set this up on a schedule. We don't need to back it up, because if there's data corruption or anything of that nature, we just rerun it, and it actually creates the database from scratch again. It's easily customizable if you have user-defined fields, or if you need to bring in data or segregate or do more querying, it's easily done within Excel. There's no significant performance degradation. we are looking at mass amounts of data, years worth of transactions and client pairs and all types of information. Because this runs on a nightly cycle and we're doing this during off hours, the actual processing takes place at night. So as you run these during the day and you want to see things, it doesn't significantly affect what you do on a day-to-day basis. Again, powerful analysis. We're able to give you drill down capability, and you don't need to know how to write queries. We don't. Within Excel, a lot of point and click, drag and drop. Some other attributes of adsBI: it is completely separate from your vendor database software. There's nothing that's loaded in that database. Everything is completely separate. And because it's separate, if your vendor makes a change to your software, it does not break the reports. It might change some things. We might make some customizations to the stored procedures, but to the actual outputs, no, we won't have to make changes to that. All databases have core tables, but there are customized tables within the reporting structure. So if your agency does something different, we use those customized tables. We don't touch the core tables. Also, if you have custom procedures, you calculate your productivity differently, you calculate your primary staff member differently, we're able to use these customized procedures that fill in the data in the core structure. Other attributes that we have as well, it is a nightly procedure. It takes literally less than an hour to set up, and then when it runs, it takes anywhere between 10 and 25 minutes to run on a nightly basis to accumulate your data. So again, it's done at night or on an off schedule. Any ODBC compliant software will be able to view the data, Excel, Access, any kind of reporting structure that is used with the Microsoft products. There's a one-time setup per spreadsheet. Actually, it's per desktop. Once you open that spreadsheet and set it up, that data source is saved, so you only have to set it up one time per machine. All tables and procedures and reports are documented and available online. One of the most important things is for you to know exactly what you're reporting on and how that data is accumulated. Here is some very small examples of what you can do with data views within Excel. This is what I would consider a dashboard. Up in the left-hand corner, we have the actual pivot table that's brought in from the database, from the adsBI database into Excel. Again, this is a pivot table that can be manipulated, and then over here on the right, it's within Excel, so you can add columns, you can format. Here is a running total of Medicaid projections from McSys after you've been paid, and it's a nice tool that you can project what you're getting paid from McSys on an ongoing basis. And so this is more of a data table driven, but down here we have more of a graphical representation of that. So it's a nice way, as the data accumulates, your charts move with you. You don't see this at the top, but there's actually a filter on this where we can sort by the service, the program, the staff member, the service category, anything that you keep track of in your database. We can actually pivot the data on, and the cells and the tables automatically update for you. Other notes on the creation of adsBI. We have done over 800 hours of development, documentation, and testing on this. There's over 5,000 lines of transaction SQL code that go into the accumulation of data. There's 22 stored procedures, 21 tables, 21 views, and 12 dashboards that are currently available. That number will go up as we continue to develop. Online training is currently available via YouTube. That might go to a different location, but right now there are trainings out there that users can get to without having to actually sign up for a class. Documentation includes every single table, a description of what it is and how the data is accumulated, so you know when I say units, this is exactly what that means. Current views that we have out there now: fiscal enrolling year Medicaid, non-Medicaid projections, which is what I showed you on the last slide. Billing cycle status, client spend down, McSys ERA, client demographics, enrollments, and payers. Transaction roll-ups, staff productivity, fiscal year rolling comparisons by units and program. That's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Customized fields and processing is available. So if you have a different way to do things, if you have different data tables and fields that are in there, your database, we can grab those. In summary, adsBI does address key data management issues such as timeliness, accuracy, consistency, accessibility, and granularity. It's easy to set up, use, and maintain, and there are no significant performance issues. There's no hardware or software investment needed. It's going to use the tools you already have. It's customizable and expandable, and this results in sophisticated analytical tools that provide business-driven metrics and indicators performance, and that's to your mental health agency, and that is something that when you install it, you will get that immediate benefit. So I appreciate your time today, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future.